Welcome viewers. That's called a one wheel for hydrofoil practice. Let's do it. There is such a thing called a female narcissist black widow type. And what they'll do is they'll create a connection with a man, and then they'll begin with tremendous love bombing at the start. They'll seduce the man, completely seduce, and consciously know what they're doing, right? These women have usually been abused by men at a young age. They've learned to understand the nature of man at a young age. They understand the nature of humanity, the fallen part of it, and how to use it and abuse it. A lot of these women end up in jail. A lot of these women are bi. If there's no supply of male, they'll go with the same sex and they'll do the same damage. And these women have been abused at a young age, and it's caused them to have a tremendous sadistic mentality towards men, a harmful mentality. Now, the object's not to physically maim initially. It's to mentally maim. And this is rampant amongst women today with men. Women will deliberately get with men and dump them, knowing that it's psychologically going to damage that man. Now, I guess it's up to the men to be strong enough to be able to withstand this kind of behaviour, because it's common now. It's not unusual behaviour. The dark side of human nature is becoming more prevalent now. The dark side of human nature is being encouraged now. What were known as the old-fashioned values are just about gone and taken for granted now. Replaced with immorality and
what the hell? That's a one real thing. That was so cool. That's pretty sick, bro. Boy, that's actually sick.
And this darkness is part of standard fallen human nature, and people are giving way to the fallen human nature now at a level that is inexcusable, because we have all the resources and information now not to be subject to it. Now, this is a choice for some people, and in other cases it's not. It's an instinctive reaction to abuse that's taken place in a person's life. We all have a need for intimacy, and at some point or other we will pursue it or take advantage of opportunities. And for the female black widow, just the fact that she needs a man is enough in her mind to play out the fantasy of harming that man. Why should she give something so valuable, meaning herself, and need something so horrible to satisfy itself. The punishment for the intimacy is trauma. And that's all there is to it. There's no commitment. There's no acknowledgement. You're just a clown in a circus act on a lethal scale. The damage that can be caused by this can happen at a young age to men as well, who get with young girls, licentious like young girls. This happened to me in school, in primary school, 6th class. And there was some naughtiness going on, and the next, I thought this girl would like me, and she didn't. This also happened to Hitler. Not many people realise this, but I did see a documentary on Hitler where he took to a Jewish girl and she rejected him. And they've got a funny feeling that this could have been part of the underlying problem with Hitler and the Jews, the rejection of that girl, of Hitler. This is the sort of damage that people are doing to each other with intimacy. They're coming into intimate situations without any resolve, without any value, without any conscious idea of what the consequences of these choices might be. They're just looking at the satisfaction of it all. And that's not enough. That is not enough. That's careless and reckless. A lot of these people will put themselves into situations where they can be raped. Again, they don't make wise choices. They're usually under the influence, which is a consequence of the original abuse right back at a young age. That doesn't make an excuse for the habit, but that's part of the reason why. And at a very young age, these girls are sexually active, promiscuous. They like to be touched. The silly part about it all is a lot of these men that get called players are usually on the end of these type of women. And men now aren't sure whether women are coming or going or what they're doing anymore. And you mix that with the single mothers and all that's going on there, all the dysfunctions there, the interference of their children, the emotional incest that gets built, the abuse that comes with that, the confusion and the trauma that comes with that, the narcissism that comes with that. It's just relentless. It's just constant. There's a lot to deal with. I think anybody that's got a half-sane relationship today would want to count themselves fortunate, extremely fortunate. The hostility that I've seen come out of the children of the women that I've been with, which has made me decide not to be with them, has been at dark triad level. That's gone to extraordinary lengths to remove me from their mother's life, be it passive aggressive or out and out aggressive. And the mothers haven't been able to deal with it. They haven't known what to do because they'd given their authority to the child before the man come along. Now you add abuse to that, and all the other ingredients that come with that, substance abuse, alcohol, and all the other twisted stuff. And you've got yourself a recipe for disaster. How does a high value man deal with that? Well, you don't get involved in that. Okay, you live and learn. But life's got a way of undermining high value people as well, and they do find their way into these situations, unfortunately. And it doesn't always work out. It doesn't always work out for people one way or another. That just doesn't work out. It just does not work out. People get hurt. Go from one hurt to the next hurt, to the next hurt, to the next hurt, blaming everybody else. I just can't see how a parent can allow a hostile, narcissistic little grub of a child, adult child, and I've seen several of these now, to ruin their relationship. Possibility is, my only conclusion is, they wanted them to. And quite frankly, it made no difference to me. It was of no consequence to me. I didn't sign up to put up with people's dysfunctional, unruly, grandized, immature, infantile children. And I've seen these mothers try and get out of it, and they just can't. I've seen these women bow and wash the feet in the emotional realm of these people. Wash their feet in the emotional realm. Look up with worship, admiration and praise at these monsters. That's the only way I can describe them, as monsters. And they're disenabling these people. They can't manage their relationships themselves. They're always at the psychiatrist, the psychologist. They run back to their mothers. They're always running back to their mothers. They don't seem to be able to move forward because they're being deliberately disenabled for the convenience of the parent. That gives the parent a sense of security, illegitimate security. And it just leads to dysfunction. One level of dysfunction to the next. There's no maturity. There's no growth. There's no transformation that leads away from infantile behaviour. There's selfishness, conceitedness, backbiting, complaining, whinging, whining, laziness, gluttony, self-centeredness, hate, interference. See, this all comes out of the destructive nature of a person that's been abused. This is the offspring of a woman that's been abused. 80% of people in jail are from single mothers. Apparently, 80% of black people in the American jails are from single mothers. I don't know if it's black people or all people, but 80% is a lot. It's not good. People have lost value of how important the discipline of men. I discipline some of these young people around me and people freak out. I've got a disabled son that's as strong as a bull and they won't let him near me because I teach him what's best for him. I find that bizarre. So I just let them all go. They just all suit themselves. I just had a relationship with a woman who I got along with the boys until they went dysfunctional and the hostility was out of control. One bloke was so used to having his own way, right, and I wouldn't buy into it. I just went along with what was the flow of the conversation. He could not stand me. In the end, he could not stand me. I saw him the other day. He looked like absolute shit. Another one, ruined. I said to the mother, these boys have got all the potential in the world and it's going down the drain. No, she didn't care. You know why I know she didn't care? I didn't see her do anything about it that meant anything significant. They teach them to take drugs. They disenable them. I sound like I'm ranting, but I'm concerned. Emotional incest, it just ruins everything. It ruins people that come into their lives. It ruins the people already in that circle. And it's quite confronting for the people when they realise that somebody says to them, there's more than just, this isn't normal, this isn't a maternal relationship. These people, at first, it's a shock, they're offended. And then they realise, my goodness, this guy's right. This guy's right. And they realise, I've ruined this child, I've ruined these children. I've spoiled my children. I've emotionally abused my children. And they end up at the psychiatrist, the psychologist, they're all on drugs and alcohol, and they're all fucked up. They can't keep a relationship. And you've pointed it out to these people, and the next thing you're a criminal. They thank you later. Oh, it's just disgraceful, really. People aren't educating themselves and helping themselves. Don't you be one of them. Only you can choose. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now.